Um, so we did some breathing last week, and I've also done some breathing experiments and some Wim Hof stuff. And basically, what I came to realize is that there's an aspect to it which be really useful for what we do in Dart, actually. Oh yeah, totally. Oh, very, very. Yeah. I forgot about that. I'll show you what we're going to do first of all, and then we can have some fun doing this. I'm also going to turn the heating back on because it's strange how it gets chilly pretty quick. So uh, so we're going to start in constructive rest, and there's a whole thing about releasing and doing all that, and then we're going to do some breathing exercises. And then you can do one of two things. You can either take your leg up and keep this in position and extend this leg and do a breathing exercise, and I can talk you through that, and or hold the leg in this position, do the breathing exercise, and then you will swap legs and do the same. Now, the thing about the breathing exercise that's really interesting is how it affects the psoas, and it affects the whole low part of the back. It's really interesting. So you can play with that or not. You can do the breathing exercise or not. It's completely up to you. But there's a point where you hold the breath low down, and you hold it for as long as you feel you're able. And during that, there is a great feeling of the body wanting to tighten up. And that really does expose habitual tensions. Whether you're lying in this position or you're lying in this psoas release position, you can just immediately spot where you go, oh, because in order to maintain your ability to keep your breath held, you need to actually switch muscles off, not turn them on. So it's a fun game to play. Then after that, we're going to play a game after we've done that breathing thing, which you're invited to do or not. We're going to grow the hands away, and this is what's going to move into the rest of the deal, is that you're going to turn the arm, and you can do it here or you can do it here, and as you turn the arm, you're going to try and turn it so that the whole arm turns, including the shoulder blade and including the clavicle. Now, I'm gonna show you how much fun you can have with this. So I can rotate, do the radius like this, where none of this moves, and then I can also turn it as if I'm turning around this, and it goes all the way down the humerus like this. And then I'm going to say, okay, the shoulder girdle, the shoulder blade has to follow the turning of the humerus. Yes, exactly. And if you can imagine the head of the humerus, which is coming into like the catcher's mitt of the shoulder blade, what you're actually doing is you're moving your arm as a complete unit. And you do it like this, or you can see if you can find the same thing like this. And this will become clearer as to why we do this when we come into crawling. Then we're going to roll onto our side. Oh, good morning. We'll roll onto our side, and you've done all this before. You're gonna have a little rock, and then you're gonna have your arm up here and do the same thing. And be careful, and this is the care, be careful not to try and rotate your pinky around your thumb. You experiment with that, because you will find old habits about rotating the pinky around the thumb, which will tell you about owies. Okay, so there's that. And then we're going to go into all fours. And you've done this before, where you're lying prone. You bring your foot up. You can turn your head to one side, whichever side you're working on, and you're going to turn your foot. And as you turn your foot, you'll feel the calf and the shin want to turn in a particular way, and then you'll feel your femur move around in there, and it's like an internal massage. It's so nice because your femur is moving around in the joint quite freely. Okay. And then you're gonna flip the foot up to the side and fold here. Then we'll do that the other side. And this is the tricky part. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, or if you're not feeling up for it. You can just stay in crawling. When you get to here, you're going to, there was this thing where you're going to move into crawling one side and move into crawling the other side. So you can feel a kind of central equivalence. Oh, that's right. It's in this position. That's why it's here. Where you feel a central equivalence, where you feel balanced around the spine. Then you can come back into this position and up into the crawling position. And this is where it gets fun, because when you get into crawling, you'll feel everything go glump. But then if you return to the idea of everything moving and being allowed to move from the shoulder blade, and everything moving down here and rotating the femur in the pelvis, you'll feel all the muscles go, oh, we don't need to do that. It's a weird feeling. And then you can begin to crawl forward. And every time you land, give that a rotation. And you can then play with this if you like, that this leg extends a little bit, and this leg extends a little bit. And then you can have both legs extend a little bit. And this is what I mean, You don't have to do this, but it's just interesting to feel how little you can interfere in this position. You can then come up through this, or you can simply crawl to the chair and then come up that way. Yep. Okay. Hi, good morning. I am going to get a... So if you get into constructive rest, so this thing of breathing in through the nose, what we were doing last week, I'm going to invite that again. So breathing in through the nose, and allowing the breath to roll down the back into filling the lungs from the back down. Yeah, it's because I'm going to do a little bit of demoing. Okay. So I am actually going to do just a little bit of this this breathing work in this position. So we're going to do some rapid, I should say, and deep in and out breathing in this position for about 40 seconds, and do what you feel comfortable doing. And then you're going to breathe all the way out. I'm going to hold that for a little while, and you'll feel your body respond with some tension, possibly. And while you're in that state of tension, allow yourself to direct ease until that point where you feel the need to breathe in. So I'm going to talk you through this. So here we go. Rapid breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Here we go. And so begin breathing. Really enjoy the injection of this mix of gases coming into your body. Enjoy the undulation right down into the base, right into the very butt. And then you're going to draw in one big in-breath. Here you go, big in-breath. And then breathe all the way out. And hold it there. Hold it there. And you may begin to feel a tension begin to move through your system. Use that information to say, okay, now I'm going to let that go. Just a few more seconds. And then you're going to breathe in. Breathe in. And breathe all the way in. And hold that for a few seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and then I want you to lean forward and grab your knee and pull that towards you if you can. Or, yeah. And extend the other leg. And so you're going to do some rapid breathing again. Here we go. And then breathe all the way out. And in this position, see if you can also wrap your hand around the back and extend the leg. You don't need to if you don't want to. See what you can let go of. Few more seconds. And breathe in. Hold that for a few seconds. And swap legs. So you're going to extend the lower leg and pull in the other leg. And begin rapid breathing. Okay, and breathe all the way out. Few more seconds. And breathe in. And breathe out and let it all melt away. And bring both knees up. See if you can sense anything that has changed in your low back and across your rib cage. Just breathe nice and easy and let your fingers rest on your ribs and encourage widening and lengthening. See if you can feel the reset of your diaphragm. See if you can feel the reset of your psoas. See if you can use the discovery of all those muscles that went into tension. You can now say, okay, those muscles can release. And if you're in constructive rest now, you just allow your all the points of connection come online. So the 13 points, whatever they are, they're all going to come online. And see if you can feel the cellular change where all that oxygen is feeding the blood cells, and also the carbon dioxide. There is an exchange there. See if you can feel the energetic exchange throughout the whole system. Really, really enjoy that feeling that has been in development universally with us for nigh on 1 billion years, near as damn it. I mean, this planet peoples, and we're part of that. And as you breathe in, you can scan for tension. And as you breathe out, you can let that tension go. And now we're going to begin to play with the rotation of the humerus in the arm socket. So just going to let either the arm come out to the side, or you can let the fingers grow up to the ceiling. And as you let the fingers grow up to the ceiling, you can play with the rotation of the hand as if it was spiraling up to the ceiling. Or if you're extending out along the floor, it's as if the arm is spiraling across the floor. And as you turn we'll say the trunk of this branch reaching out, if you find that the movement of the trunk gets caught in the shoulder girdle, just rock slightly over to the opposite side so that you'll feel the shoulder girdle be slightly free and maybe more of the back comes into contact with the floor. Just this, yes, so that the shoulder can be free to move, yes. So then as you rotate the whole structure, you can feel the shoulder blade just come and play with you. Beautiful. Yes. Yes, exactly. And it's really just the feeling of an inner massage. Is that okay if I use my hands? An inner massage of the bone structure within the muscle spiral. And when you've played with that rotation a little bit, then just let the hand come and lie down on the rib cage and see if you can spot what has changed one side to the other. And so you can begin the same process with the other arm. It's not okay if I use my hands. Now, if you feel any strange glitches as you mess about with the rotation, see if you can bring your mind's eye to the pattern of the bony structure within. So, bearing in mind that the thumb rotates around the pinky through the radius, and the ulna is pretty fixed within the humerus, the upper arm bone. And so the upper arm bone and the lower arm bone, they kind of spiral upwards into the glenohumeral joint there, which includes your clavicle and your shoulder blades. So those all are interconnected. And as you rotate that elbow outwards and inwards, you can feel the whole thing joyously rotate, and so that the shoulder blade rolls over the round egg of your flock of ribs. So the movement of the arm is supported by the grounding nature of the clavicle and the shoulder blade. Now, shoulder blade is a funny term. We should invent a different term for it because it's curved so that it slides around the rib cage. So maybe there's a different word we could use, more dynamic word. The shoulder crescent, the shoulder disc, the shoulder dome. I know, answers on a postcard. So we're gonna move on now. I'm gonna let the creepy crawly the feet forward. So let the toes begin to look for whatever they want to look for. That they are creeping forward like caterpillars. And then eventually the toe wants to come off the floor and look at the ceiling. And so the heel then begins to scoot along the floor. And when you have extended the foot, just to maintain the theme of the end point, the tips of the structures massaging the larger structures towards the core, just draw a little circle with your toes in this position. You'll feel the whole leg rotate in the pelvis. And then you're going to extend the arm up above the head along the floor. And you can have a little look underneath your armpit. And you're gonna let the opposite arm just come across the body so that it's head sensors followed by heart sensors followed by tummy sensors, pelvis, and lastly the lower legs. And see if you can lie along that line. And while you're in that position, once again, just let the tips of the fingers guide that hand all the way up towards the ceiling. And there you can really get a feeling of the rotation of the arm going all the way into the shoulder blade, and enjoy the action of the shoulder blade moving in response to keeping in contact with the arm. It's like it's following the arm around. And as you rotate, you might feel your body being taken slightly off center by the weight of your arm rotating. And see if you can let that rotating action actually move down through your structure in a kind of, so actually massage the way that the structure is right the way through. Yes. So it releases exactly. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice, Barbara Penny. Yeah. Yes. So this turning just invites the movement of the shoulder. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yes. And when you've had enough fun with that, just let it lie next to the other arm or above your head. Then I'm gonna help by moving the blocks. Then you're gonna let your eyes come and look underneath that armpit, and you're gonna roll over onto your back and keep rolling so that's beautiful, James. Yes. Yes. Via. Wow, you guys, that's amazing. And then do the same thing on the other side. I think what's very interesting is how this arm feels, the one that you've just been playing with. Just see how that feels in contact with the floor as compared with the other one when you were lying along it. It's a funny thing to feel the freedom of that shoulder blade. And then you can lie down completely, allow that hand to come down, of course, to meet the other arm. Really nice fire. I think one of the things that's fascinating about this relationship between the shoulder blade and the humerus is that there are all kinds of places where, I don't know, the humerus wants to do one thing and the shoulder blade's going, I don't know about that. And then you find a different position, and then they come into agreement. And I think it's a thing to be able to clock where that agreement is. Because if you're playing in that area of disagreement all the time and you don't know that, I don't know, that could lead to some uncomfortable difficulties in the future. All right. So then, come completely into prone if you are up for it. You can just be there for a minute, lengthening. And then you can sense something to one side and let that head turn on its axis. to that side. And you're going to fold at the knee as if the sole of the foot is looking for something on the ceiling. And you can just wave that foot in the air a little bit and have just a joyous feeling of that foot. You know, sometimes, I don't know whether you've ever been on a picnic or you've been on the beach or you've just been lying down and you just waved the foot in the air. Well, that's what you're doing. Only this time, you're just clocking what that does to why is it so pleasurable? Well, it's because it's moving the femur in the socket in a really pleasant way. And that rocking, that's interesting, that rocking. What you're going to do is you're going to uh, move the toes in towards the midline and feel which way the leg goes, and then move the toes to the outline. And as you turn that foot in midair, the big toe to the midline or the big toe to the outside, you'll feel the whole leg move in response to that. And what's fascinating about that is that this is the origins of our flipper. You'll feel the whole flipper moving as it has done for half a billion years. I can't remember when Amphioxus came along. And then you're just going to let that foot come down onto the floor and then just let the heel rock backwards and forwards right there. Once again, just feel the pleasurable feeling of the femur moving backwards and forwards, like an internal muscle massage for your hip there. And then when the heel comes to the midline, your toes are going to begin to look for the floor, and you can flipper your feet up along the floor. You know, flipper that foot up. And when your foot is flippered up it's not yoga, so it's just a place where you can find release. Breathe in that position. You can also fold the leg at the knee and bring the heel towards your perineum. You can just, once again, just slide the foot backwards and forwards as you have that bent leg. And you're going to draw the hand up on that side and let the shoulder move backwards and forwards. So you have a flat hand on that side. You move the shoulder backwards and forwards. And then as the shoulder comes forwards, you're going to roll through the fingers over onto the back of your hand. And you can roll backwards and forwards from the front of your hand, the palm of your hand, rolling onto the back. And see if you can roll through the joints as if they were fins. And then just settle that hand down onto the floor again. And you're going to flipper that leg back and let that settle on the floor next to the other leg. And you're going to rotate the head along the axis to look on the other side. You're going to fold at the knee as if the heel is drawn somehow to the ceiling. And you can just rock that leg backwards and forwards and feel the femur joyously moving. Yeah. And then you can turn the toe to the midline, feel the leg fall over that way, turn the toe to the outside, and feel the leg turn the other way. It can be just a tiny thing or it can be a large thing. When you played with that for a bit, you let that foot come down to the floor again and then rock that foot backwards and forwards as if the heel is drawing an arc across the ceiling. And you'll feel the whole femur rotate in the socket. You just let that foot rest on the floor and rotate backwards and forwards. And you can begin to flipper that foot up on that side. And at any point during your flipper movement, you can pause and return to Dart's credo. What can I let go of as a result of this movement? And then you can fold at the knee and bring the heel towards the center line. And then you can slide that foot backwards and forwards. And then bring it to rest. So then you can flip your foot back to join the other leg and bring your forehead into the completely prone position. And you can just take a moment to breathe and allow that extension right the way down the back, so you feel the pelvis moving away from the top of the head with each breath. Beautiful. Yes, really, really beautiful. That is fantastic. And this whole thing about breathing so that the breath in through the nose fills the back. The air comes, ooh, right the way down into the floating ribs, reminding the whole flock of ribs. Beautiful. Well, now you can bring your hands underneath your shoulder girdle so that your elbows are up. And this is where we begin to move into lizard world. So you can turn your head as well as you do this. You're going to fold your legs one side and you'll feel your pelvis come off. Yes. And then fold the leg the other side. So you're going to feel that rotation of the hip every time the leg folds. Yes. Yes. Exactly. And the thing to clock as you do this is what happens to the spine as you do this. So as you rotate from one side to the other, you can, and we talked about this last week, clock the rotation of the coccyx with each movement of the pelvis. And also we can call it the coccyx of the top of the head. And then you're going to come up into a crawling position. So bring the knee underneath. We're gonna skip the head on the floor part because of time. So into the crawling position. First of all, just note where you're habitually holding on in the crawling position. And then you can say, okay, I'm going to wag both tails and see what changes with your structure just by wagging both tails. And then you can introduce the idea of breath filling the back so that the back is drawn up towards the ceiling. The whole of that structure is supported by the planet. And then you can begin to crawl, but as you crawl, really the first step of crawling is the joy of that moving shoulder, the shoulder dome. Then you can swing that thigh forward. And you can even do a little rotation of the foot or the lower leg. And you can keep crawling, and then you can reverse crawl. Really enjoy the connection between the shoulder blade and the arm. If your arm feels slightly fatigued, really play with the release that your shoulder blade gives that arm. Okay. So then if you have both your hands in front, or it could be on your elbows if you like, but you can also play with, you have the extended leg, you're just going to let that leg extend, and there again, rock the ankle so that the pelvis is reminded that it's a free fin. You can do the same thing with the other one, and you can keep your coccyx swaying, keep wagging that tail. And you can either crawl towards the chair Or if you like this game of leg extension, you can extend both legs and you can go for a little walk, but see what is what causes tension. Is it possible to breathe and wibble the legs in such a way that there's less tension and that your breathing isn't inhibited? And you can either bear walk your way towards the chair, or you can crawl towards the chair. And then once again, here's the position of mechanical advantage. So in this point where you get to the chair, you're gonna keep that fold on the go there, and keep extending out the top of the head. You can even fling that chair around. And if you are still, yes, nice monkey work over there, that's really great. Bear into monkey, and then coming up piece by piece. And as you come up here, this is the what a revelation this was for me personally. As I come up, there is that place in the joint where I'm still, even though I'm coming up into vertical, I'm going to still have this idea of the freedom of the fins. So if you can imagine your lower fins still spiraling down into the planet, and also spiraling up into the spiral that goes all the way up through the body. So your pelvis doesn't need to thrust forward. And you can play with it. You can go, what happens if I thrust my pelvis forward? You'll feel the spiral it changes. No? Am I making it up? You hear this? Yeah. So see if you can wag the tail so that brilliant. Then allows the spiral to continue up through the top of the head and down the arms, so you can feel your shoulder blades release. Yeah, beautiful. And then you can take this for a walk. Just one addendum for those that were up for it, and that is that this coming down into position of mechanical advantage and then continuing down, you can come into, a primal squat, or you can have fun with a bear crawl, or you can have fun into a normal crawl. But all of those can give you information about the relationship between your fins and your center line. Always giving you information about your fins and your center line. So you can move in a balanced way. Beautiful. Yeah, exactly. And that place on when you're folded and you've got your hands on just above your knees, that place there, that is a great place to know where this teeter totter comes into alignment. Thanks for joining, friends.